Just ahead on CTV News.
There are elections taking place today in Prince George's County. We'll tell you where coming up.
And
workers for Shoppers and union members gather in College Park to keep this store and 3 others from across the Washington metro region from closing. I'm Katara Jones. I'll have all those details coming up on CTV News.
Plus, we continue our one-on-one data center conversation with Councilwoman Walla Blagay.
At this time, we're not in support of a data center in Landover. Nobody is. It is too close to home.
These stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening, this is CTV News for November 4th. I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, good news for SNAP recipients in Maryland. Governor Wes Moore has announced the release of $62 million from the state's Fiscal Responsibility Fund to ensure full November SNAP benefits for Marylanders. The executive order follows the Trump administration court order release of funding, but only to pay for a half month's worth of food assistance benefits in November. Governor Moore says the funds will keep food stamp benefits available to 680,000 residents. Moore's move comes weeks after saying the state could not afford to fill the gap in funding during the federal government shutdown. And the town of Cheverly provided resources today for federal workers affected by the government shutdown. The community resource fair at the Town Hall Gymnasium in Cheverly brought together utility providers, local organizations, and government representatives to help laid off and furloughed federal workers. The event offered resources, information, and on-site assistance. The Cheverly Town Administrator says helping the community is their duty.
It's a way of giving back to the community, but also ensuring that residents have the resources that they need to survive. You know, right now, while the government shutdown is happening, we have real people that are being impacted by this. People still have to pay mortgages. People still have to pay vehicle payments. So it's important that we're here to at least provide some type of aid to residents that live in Cheverly.
And Galloway says the town of Cheverly will continue to provide resources to the community during the shutdown. And a popular grocery store chain is slated to close 4 of its Maryland locations by the end of the week. This decision could leave many people without work and access to healthy food options. CTV's Katara Jones is in College Park with more.
The fight to keep this Shopper store and 3 others from closing pushes forward and gaining some momentum.
We will stop you! Stop you!
Dozens of unionized workers rallied outside the Shoppers in College Park on Monday. United Food and Commercial Workers Local 400 is angry over the decision to close 4 Shopper stores, 3 of them located here in Prince George's.
Save our shoppers! Save our shoppers!
Christy Bennett, who has worked at the grocery store chain for 32 years, says she might only get 10 weeks of severance pay.
After that, then we're eligible for unemployment, which is 6 months, but we don't know how much that will be. That still affects our households. At this point, I'm looking for other work. I'm looking for something else.
Stores in Capitol Heights, Laurel, and Germantown are slated to close this Saturday. As you can see at the College Park location, this store is already closed. Arthur Roberts, who works at the Forestville Shoppers, says he's worried that his store could be next.
We don't know one day from another, so I mean, it could be. I pray and hope that it don't. I pray and hope everybody get their job back and we can keep Shoppers open and they can keep it open so we can move on with our life.
Delegate Ashanti Martinez is in support of keeping the stores open and sent a letter to the company's CEO.
So I wanted to hear from them directly about why they were doing the closures, but also if there was any plans for the workers to get new jobs at other facilities and what were the plans for the these spaces. We don't need more empty spaces here in our county when we have such a need for food.
Martinez says the owners of Shoppers United Natural Foods, Inc. is open to a meeting to discuss the closure. No word yet on when that meeting will be. Katera Jones, CTV News.
And CTV News will continue to follow this story and keep you updated as the story develops. Meanwhile, a county council member is proposing a bill that will work to connect more healthy food options to county residents. Councilmember Walla Blagay is the sponsor of the Food as Medicine Health Program Act. The measure, which passed unanimously, will create food-based and nutrition interventions in order to address chronic diseases and food insecurity in the county, while also providing an educational component to it. The bill will also establish a 21-person work group to come up with recommendations to better implement the program.
The Food as Medicine program is really going to be sort of that overarching sort of theme that will support us in supporting with food nutrition, helping people learn how to take meals that they're getting from the grocery store and develop food. And really, especially for people that have families, preparing healthy foods that can last for several days.
Food is culture. And food also is there so much to be actually like a caring aspect of our lives. And I think it's more appropriate now more than ever when food access is being attacked, when our community is being attacked, that we find ways for our residents to have food work for them and not against them.
The program will be established within the county health department. Well, Governor Wes Moore is setting the stage for a political showdown, announcing a new redistricting advisory commission to redraw the state's congressional maps ahead of the 2026 midterms. The move comes after Senate President Bill Ferguson said he wouldn't support mid-cycle redistricting, putting the two Democratic leaders at odds in an already blue state. Moore says the goal is to ensure fair and representative maps, but the push also positions Maryland squarely in the middle of a national redistricting fight, one that's heating up as both parties try to reshape the political map before the next election. And a new UMBC poll shows many Marylanders are concerned about the state's future. Starting with Governor Moore, 52% of Marylanders still approve of what he is doing, but 48% feel the state is on the wrong track. 69% rate the state's economic conditions over the past year as poor or fair, and more than half of Marylanders think the economic conditions will be worse next year. The two top economic issues residents are most concerned about are the cost of food and consumer goods, along with health care and insurance. Meanwhile, the poll also gathered Marylanders' views on the president and the federal government shutdown. 63% believe the shutdown will have a major impact on the state's economy, while only 37% expect a minor impact on their personal financial situation. 61% of residents hold Republicans responsible for the shutdown, and 67% of Marylanders disapprove of President Trump's job while in office. The UMBC Institute of Politics will release Part 2 tomorrow and Part 3 on Thursday. And speaking of polls, after the break, we're stopping by several municipalities this election day. I'm Michaela Newton, and you're watching CTV News. Stay with us.
You gotta believe without seeing. You gotta keep going, keep breathing. When you face a day, it feels like you're gonna break. You gotta believe without seeing. You gotta keep going, keep breathing. You face a day that feels like you're gonna break. So lean on the ones that love you, the guardian angels above you, and think about when peace is just another color. Ooh, just another color. Just another color.
Welcome back. While many eyes may be on elections in New York City, New Jersey, and Virginia, voters in Maryland are heading to the polls. Byron Scott has our story in College Park.
Voters in College Park are choosing a mayor and 8 council members representing 4 districts.
I always exercise my right to vote.
But with the exception of 3 candidates who are running for 2 District 2 seats, all are incumbents who are running unopposed.
I am feeling optimistic.
Holly Simmons is running for a seat in District 2.
I think there's a lot of important work underway in the city, whether it comes to the Affordable Housing Task Force work or the restorative justice efforts in Lakeland.
It is unfortunate that our voters will not be getting choices on the ballot papers.
Incumbent Mayor Fazlul Kabir says he had been hoping for more competition across the board.
We tried our best in different ways, asking the community members to come forward and run for elections. Unfortunately, only one district that had competitive race.
I'm running unopposed.
Jacob Hernandez is set to begin his 2nd term.
When I first got here, I was really ambitious and really excited to do a whole bunch of things, and I quickly realized that the only way to get super far is through partnership.
As for voters, turnout was steady.
No matter what election is, our election here in College Park, at least my district, is everyone's running uncontested, but I still want to raise my voice.
As for issues, the mayor would like College Park to have its own police department.
That is something I'm looking into by having a new, smaller police department, but without raising our taxes from our residents.
This will be my 8th term serving on the City College Park City Council, and I'm one who believes in collaboration and about being transparent and serving with integrity. So hopefully that's what has kept me on the council for the past almost 14 years.
And with most seats unchallenged, turnout may not be as high as one might hope. Ben Cam summed it up.
If we don't vote, he's going to win. If we do vote, he's going to win.
So it's a fait accompli.
Basically.
Elections are also being held today in the city of Laurel and Upper Marlboro, where in each 5 council seats are up for grabs. In College Park, Byron Scott, CTV News.
All right, Byron, thanks so much for that report. And don't forget, polls close tonight at 8. Well, Prince George's police need your help finding 2 suspects involved in the robbery of an armored truck Monday morning. Right there on your screen is surveillance pictures of the suspects. A Brinks truck was located at 8819 Woodyard Road in Clinton. Shortly before 8:30 a.m., both the suspects approached a Brinks truck with weapons, assaulted the driver, and left a substantial amount of cash. A $2,500 reward is being offered for information leading to an arrest or indictment in this case. And this afternoon, the Prince George's County Domestic Violence Coordinating Council and the Family Justice Center held its inaugural Domestic Violence Fair. In honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, several organizations gathered in the parking lot of the Family Justice Center to provide resources to people who need it. And we spoke with Prince George's State's Attorney Tara Jackson about the event.
We're in a time right now in our country with the federal government shut down and so many things going on around us that people are experiencing an immense amount of stress. Stress oftentimes negatively impacts violence or people that are more prone to violence in the home. And so we just want to make sure that persons who believe that they are victims of family violence or persons that are even seeing others who they believe are victims of family violence know that there's somewhere that they can come to.
And Bowie State University dedicated Conversation. It's a new mural by renowned artist Victor Ekpuk. You can see the vibrant installation in the Martin Luther King Jr. Communication Arts Center atrium. It explores themes of dialogue and community. We heard from the artist who was emotional this morning during the ceremony.
Well, I didn't come here expecting that you guys would bring tears to my eyes. But I really appreciate every aspect of how this work came to be and all the people that supported my idea while it was still in paper and saw how it could become. And selected me, my work, out of 200 applicants to today have it here.
This is not something that they've just...
And still to come on CTV News, we continue our one-on-one data center conversation with Councilmember Walla Blagay. Hear what she has to say after the break. We'll be right back.
Listen up. It's the 4th quarter. You're almost there. Your boys just turned 18, but they need one more push. Don't let them forget to register with the Selective Service System. It's required by law, and if they don't register, they'll miss out on many important federal benefits. Parents, teachers, coaches, say it with me, sss.gov. SSS.gov. Let's get them registered today.
The topic of data centers in Prince George's County is getting a lot of attention. Residents have been protesting to make sure they don't come to the county, but there's been a lot of misinformation circulating around the topic. Joining me to help set the record straight is County Councilwoman and Qualified Data Center Task Force member, Walla Begay. Thank you so much for joining us, Walla.
Thank you.
All right, so starting off here, I really want to talk about the information that you've gathered for data centers so far.
Yeah, we've been meeting, and I just want to go back of how we even started the Qualified Data Center Task Force so people would understand that this is transparency. That's why we started the task force. We had a vote last November that was going to remove a process that a data center would have to go through. I think it's a subdivision process, and it was going to skip it, and we voted that down. And at that time, I said, we need to make sure these infrastructures are in place before anything is fast-tracked. This is before we knew anything about what happened in 2021. I was not on the council then, so we didn't know. But the chair and I spoke, and there we decided to start a task force because I started looking into all the infrastructure issues. And we decided to start a task force, and we actually started it in June. So this was before anybody protests about Landover. And during that time, the first meeting, they actually pulled out the zoning and told us that they could bring zoning in just about every zone. There's at least 6 different zones you could put up a data center. So at that time, we talked about pausing everything until we finished the task force recommendations. And I will say that the recommendations are coming out next month. We're working on those now. Some of the things we've learned, electricity is a huge issue. No data center can be turned on in the next 4 to 5 years, because the electricity issue is such a dire issue that something has to be done. There are concerns about that if a data center is turned on, we are on a 13-state consortium with power. So meaning that if a data center is turned on in Loudoun County, it still impacts us no matter what. So when people say no data centers in Prince George's County because it's impacting our electricity, if it turns on in Frederick, it impacts our electricity. You have data centers coming in Frederick and Montgomery County that is impacting our electricity. Another thing is that there's a discussion about environmental racism. Now, I would say on the record, I am not in support of a data center at Landover, neither is the county executive. We passed a pause resolution to stop that, to stop anything going forward. Will there be possible litigation because of our action? Possibly, we don't know. But at this time, we're not in support of a data center at Landover. Nobody is. It is too close to homes. We don't know who was behind expediting it. We know that the past council fast-tracked the bill. The members on that time were, Jolene Ivey. There were many of those, and amongst others, at least 4 members that are currently on there that voted to fast-track. I would have never done that, because we haven't gotten the infrastructure in place.
And I know your colleague, Chairman Edward Barrows, did mention to me that he believes that there's going to be a happy medium when it comes to the decision that's going to be made around data centers in Prince George's County. So maybe they won't be in residential areas, but they would be in rural areas.
Possibly. I mean, what we notice is that the ones in Frederick and Montgomery County are in rural areas, so they're not near houses. Landover is just right. I mean, there are homes right there, walking distance from the site. That is just to the concerns. So I know that the concerns about the water, when we talk with WSSC, it looks like the water issue will be resolved. Also, they talked about Loudoun County, that there were noise issue. The noise issue was only a couple of sites that had noise issues, and they said they were near the water. So we are learning from that. We have our staff looking into why there was noise issues in those areas. Now, when people talk about environmental racism, we want to kind of clear that they're targeting Black communities. At this time, data centers are mostly in majority white communities. Loudoun County, Prince William County. It's our understanding that other than Landover site, in Prince George's County, the other Black community that there's been a proposal of a data center is Memphis. So So this is not something that they're just targeting Black communities. It is they're targeting anywhere where they can get some space to put up a data center.
Yeah, and I know that the Qualified Data Center Task Force was created so that there can be an unbiased sort of environment in the decision-making process to bring those policy recommendations over to the county council. But can you share with us whether you are for or against data centers?
Well, I don't think we should have any data centers near residential areas. It is a concern that I have that it is too close. There are too many infrastructure issues. I don't believe we should turn on a data center until we get this energy crisis resolved. However, I do understand, as the people have brought forth, that there is a concern about our revenues. The county is in a structural deficit. And if we don't address that issue soon or now, many people are talking about some of the big things that we've lost, like the Commanders of Six Flags. But what we don't understand, redevelopment and that scale takes years. And so we need multiple things now to really turn this around. And data centers, Montgomery County is about to make money from data centers. Frederick is. Loudoun County already gets about $1 billion, close to $1 billion in revenues because of data centers. So I think that's where the issue is, that many county stakeholders are looking at how can it be done, but it doesn't backfire on impact on our community, and we just can't have that.
But has the county council looked at other ways that can generate money in the same way the data center can?
Of course, we have looked at that too. We have looked at retail, commercial development, those type of things. So we have multiple balls in the air. I just would say data centers is probably the one that needs to be studied the most because of the infrastructure issue. So that's why we have a task force and some other things. But yeah, we have everything on the table.
And so who is making this final decision, the county council?
Well, different stakeholders, because the recommendations will be just what they are, but the recommendations won't be just the council. The council can look at some things, but there's some things that the county executive is going to have to do. There's some things like when they say bring your own energy, if they're going to get a data center, that's something that's going to have to work out with PEPCO and PJM. I will say the first thing we're going to do is remove the fast tracking. I would do that because I do believe that with the infrastructure issues, fast tracking should not come with data centers. They should go through the regular process. Why people in Landover feel so cheated? There was a detailed site plan process that usually requires a number of community meetings and will bring the project before the council. They fast-tracked that and removed that detailed site plan process, that it went straight from subdivision with barely a community meeting straight to permitting. What's stopping the permitting are our pause on data center and the county executive's executive order. So what we're trying to do is there will be multiple bills put in place to probably make sure that this goes smoothly.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Wallabagay. It has been a pleasure to get this information from you. And we know the Qualified Data Center Task Force is working on their recommendations for the County Council that must be submitted by November 30th. We will continue to update you on the latest developments around data centers as new information is released.
All right, Anaya, thanks so much. Lots of great information there. And be sure to tune in to CTV News tomorrow to see an exclusive interview with a qualified data center task force member who is against data centers being placed in Black and brown communities and has a strong opinion on community members being silenced around the topic. All right, don't move. Simon Buggs has our Tuesday Sports page.
Are you guys in the mood for some college hoops highlights? If so, then you're in luck, because I have some for you all from the UMD women's basketball team's first home game of the season. Stay tuned.
You've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You have to carefully monitor your health for the rest of your life, and you have an increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Cut. Type 2, take 2.
Action.
You've been diagnosed with a new purpose: to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself, to look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
Okay, everyone, we begin today's sports page with some college hoops highlights as the Terps women's basketball team look to start the season off with a dub in their first game of the year against Loyola. Now, Maryland started the game off well as them turning defense into offense with this steal by Sailor Poffenbarger, resulting in this bucket on the other end from Maria Boyko, and the Lady Terps doing a good job of sharing the rock and finding Poffenbarger under the hoop for the easy lay-in, helped them jump out to a 14-8 lead over the Lady Greyhounds. Maryland kept the lead after the opening quarter, but Loyola wasn't far behind, only being down 18-11. In the second quarter, the Lady Terps were able to expand their lead to double digits after these two tray balls, both from Malusi Okananwa, who had a game-high 18 points in the matchup. And Maryland's hot shooting in the quarter, combined with a nice effort on the defensive end, helped them outscore Loyola 20-4 in the second quarter and go into halftime up 38-15. Maryland continued to shoot extremely well in the quarter as this triple nailed by Poffenbarger, this layup from Izzy Mamodu after the nice bounce pass from Okananwa, and this buzzer beater from Ava McKinney helped them score 30 points in the period to go into the fourth quarter up 68-21 on the Lady Greyhounds. And the Lady Terps cruised to victory in the fourth quarter, winning their first game of the season 80-26. Congratulations on the win, ladies. Maryland will face off next against UMBC on Thursday at 6 o'clock. And congratulations to head coach Buzz Williams and the men's basketball team on getting their first win of the season last night as well. The Terps took down Coppin State 83-61. The team will take the court next versus Georgetown on Friday for their home opener at 6 o'clock. In more Terps sports news, the football team is absolutely struggling right now. Maryland is currently on a 4-game losing streak, with the most recent loss coming via a 55-10 rout by Indiana. The Terps' next opponent will be Rutgers on the road, and defensive back Jalen Husky touched on why he believes his squad can turn things around against the Scarlet Knights.
I think it's honestly just the way that we come to work every single day and the positive attitude, and that despite the 4-game losing streak that we're on right now, everybody is still so together and everybody still believes in what we have in this locker room. There's no splintering, there's no loss of faith. Everybody still believes in what we have, and we're also committed to winning football games.
Hopefully Husky and the rest of the team can get back in the win column. Kickoff is on Saturday at 2:30. Moving on to some Commanders news, linebacker Frankie Louisville has been suspended for 1 game without pay due to violating the NFL's rule against hip drop tackles. The league ruled that the All-Pro violated the policy again in the team's game versus the Seattle Seahawks this past Sunday, while making a tackle on Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. This was Louisville's 3rd violation this season, with the first 2 coming in weeks 4 and 8. It was reported that Louisville will appeal the ruling. And wrapping up sports, the Washington Wizards lost their 5th game in a row last night to the New York Knicks, 119-102. They will take the court next versus the Boston Celtics tomorrow at 7:30. Let's see if they can bounce back. And that is your Tuesday sports page. Simon Bucks, CTV Sports.
All right, thanks, Simon. Let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be mostly clear out. Tomorrow will be nice and sunny with a high of 69. Thursday will be sunny. We'll have a high of 58 and a low of 39 degrees. Friday will be partly sunny with a high of 63, but we have a 70% chance of rain Friday night. And for our community calendar, this Saturday, the Prince George's County chapter of Mocha Moms is having its education fair. Explore a wide range of educational options and resources designed to support every stage of your child's learning journey, from preschools to independent, public, and homeschooling options, as well as tutoring services, enrichment programs, and more. This event takes place from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at Holy Trinity Episcopal School. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.